Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So, as I said, we're going to do some nice outdoor series videos while the summer's going on well. And it is a beautiful day for this. It's probably, I don't know, 60, 70, and no, it's definitely not 70. It's like around 60-ish degrees or so. We're outside, and I'm actually able to record everything 1080p. I did get that all figured out, so hopefully we're going to get better quality here. I'm in a park. I can't remember the name exactly, but this might be called Greenbrier Park. I can't remember for sure. It's actually just about 1 mile that direction is the Penn State main campus. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm in this nice little park here, and I have a nice background. I think I have a couple garbage cans over there behind me, but that's okay. I kind of had to change my location a few times. The first place I wanted to record, I was like this dark shadow because I was underneath, and then around the other side, I thought I'd have to go like gangsta style because the sun was in my way, but this way here it's about as consistent either way. So we're getting some light issues back and forth. That's okay. It's because I got this bright sun up there. In my office I can actually control the light. Out here no, but that's quite okay. I don't think you guys mind so much. Wind's not quite as much. There's a little bit of a breeze, but nothing too major, and I hope it will not interfere. Let me stop talking for a second, see if you can hear the wind. Yeah, a little bit. So there's a little bit of wind, but not a whole lot. Nothing super significant. All right, so today what we are going to talk about is let's give the tech a break. All right, now I'm not talking about, hey, let's be easy on Microsoft for all the crazy things that were in the news about them this week. No, not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is slow down on the technology a little bit. Get out in a park. Enjoy things. Of course, I'm out here with a laptop. Foolish me. However, I do want to stop and say, give the tech a little bit of a break. Just slow down a little bit. And this was a discussion I had with somebody not too long ago. We were talking about just how transitions have occurred and things. And what had occurred to us is back somewhere around 2010, of course, there was an old shift in our sociological culture in 1985, and that's, if you track the obesity rates and epidemics, that's what happened then. Is in 1985, a whole bunch of things all converged simultaneously, and then obesity shot up to the roof. Well, a tech convergence happened in 2010. Smartphones became not only available, of course, the first iPhones were available back like 2008, I think, but no one had them. In fact, you couldn't really get them on most of the carriers. I think AT&T had them initially. I forget who had them first. You had the Blackberries where you could, check email and make phone calls, and it was like, whoa, this is like a combination of a Palm Pilot, if you remember those, and a phone. Ugh. And then the iPhones and the Androids came out, and around 2010 is when convergence happened, when phones were starting to get to the point where more and more people, and I'm still not an early adopter of a lot of great tech. But what happened back at that time, though, is this is 7 years ago, which is almost getting to be a decade. Actually, 2008's like almost a decade ago, which is kind of scary because, like, I got my doctor's back then. I've been a doctor for over 10 years now. That's kind of freaky to me. Actually, this year is going to be my 10th anniversary. In fact, the most hilarious thing is, I'm a Christian, as you know, but I got my doctorate on Halloween. Was the day you officially have your doctors when everybody on your committee signs the form. Well, the last person signed the form at 5:00 on Halloween, and she was dressed as a witch. So I got my doctorate from a witch on Halloween. Awesome. But all that being said, it's just a neat little fun story, but that was almost 10 years ago. And I was a professor back then, and I was a professor for about 6 months before I got my doctorate, because of how you finalize everything, and you're done with all your work. You have this horrible, nightmarish time writing a dissertation, and so I'm teaching full time while finishing my dissertation. I had to take a day off of work to go do my oral defense, and all that kind of stuff. Then you have rounds of corrections, then you get the giant book with a title that's so long. I could link it if people wanted to, but it's boring. You don't want to read it, trust me. It was bad. You don't want to read it, trust me. Something dealing with peroxisome proliferation and LXXL SLL motifs and blah, 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 protein regulation and blah, 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 which is a fascinating point of study, but I diverge. In that time period, around 2008 to 2010, smartphones were starting to move on. Now, I got my first smartphone, I want to say it was either 2011 or 2012. I think it was 2012. I don't know. I can't remember. But the smartphones were first becoming available, and then you had your smartphones, and then you had the merge of social media. And I want to say 2009, probably. It was either late 2008, maybe early 2009 when I actually signed up on Facebook. Of course, MySpace was before that, and that was just a silly joke. But then social media started to converge. Cheap broadband internet started to converge. MP3s for free were starting to converge. Netflix was starting to converge. And then what ended up happening is around 2010 is our entire life got so perpetually connected, the concept of a computer that was not perpetually on an internet just vanished. And actually, it's on my list of distros to look at, but there is a distro, and I can't remember the name of it now, I'm going to have to look it up, but there is actually a distro that is designed to be an offline study reference computer, which is kind of cool. I want to look into it. But our entire life is designed right now to be online. We are perpetually connected through our computers, through our tablets, through our smart TVs, our smartphones, our smart devices, our IoT things. There is, as we live our lives right now, there is almost never a time when we are not perpetually connected to something. And I want to say, take a break. Leave the phone at home sometimes. Get off of all your IoT things. Take a walk without a gadget. Now, I've always been a big fan of walking. Always have been a big fan of walking. In fact, since I was a young man, I had walked quite a bit. And I used to throw on headphones back when you had Walkmans and cassette tapes, and we had 90-minute tapes. And I'd take my favorite songs, I'd record my favorite songs for the month onto a 90-minute tape. And then I'd push play on the thing, and I'd start walking, and we lived kind of in the backwoods on railroad tracks. And of course, railroad tracks in the East Coast really aren't used. And so I'd walk down the track there on the railroad tracks at night, with this tape going. And then of course it'd play for 45 minutes. I'd walk for 45 minutes. And then when the tape ended, I'd flip the tape over and I'd turn around and I'd walk back. Now, that's the type of tech that was kind of cool. And if you have an MP3 player or a Walkman or some other device that's not perpetually connected to the internet that you can put stuff on, and you need to listen to something when you walk, then do that. That's cool. But last night, I gotta say, for the first time in a long time, I took a walk last night without a phone, without even music, without anything. I just walked. And it's amazing when you put the tech down, when you give tech a little bit of a break, what starts going through your mind and the thoughts. I thought about this. I think I know one phone number for a person that still has that number. One. I need to do better at that. We need to know our phone numbers. Now, my brother, who does not use a lot of technology, doesn't have a smartphone or anything, he comes in and like literally he knows a pile of people's phone numbers off the top of his head. That's kind of cool. I don't anymore. And it's kind of sad. And I actually used to have a listing of my whole directory, everyone that I knew, in a list in my car. So if there was an emergency, then I had the option to call somebody without having a phone nearby. And I got to get back to that too. And I think I'm going to work on that over the course of the next couple months, is work on getting all my contacts into an actual organizable contact book so that I have people's phone numbers that are important to me. Because I probably sadly won't sit down and memorize everything, although I'm going to put forth the effort to do a little bit of that. But with that being said, give tech a break. Leave the phone at home every once in a while. And I hear there's arguments like, oh, I'm a parent. Our parents went without it for a long, long time. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just slow down a little bit. Leave the phone, like right now I'm driving and the phone is in my car somewhere over there. I don't care. Of course, I have this. Now, I'm a little busy today to take a walk right this moment, but what I've been doing this week In fact, I was deeply impressed by a talk. It was actually from the Blender Foundation. Of course, Blender is the open source kind of Linux replacement for 3ds Max. In fact, the intro to my videos is actually done in Blender, and they have some talks every now and again. And so I'm watching this talk, and the guy, it was like 7 Habits of Highly Effective Artists, of course, kind of with a tip of the hat to Stephen Covey, with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Well, his 7 Habits of Highly Effective Artists was do something every day, plan the time. Well, I took that into a broader sense, and it made me realize one of the best books I've ever read. In fact, it was the book I was reading during the 9/11 attacks. But I read it again. Actually, I read it again almost a decade ago, like 2000, I think it's 2010 to 2012. Somewhere around there I read it again. And actually, I'm going to read it again. I'm going to commit myself to read it again over the course of next month. And it is by Canfield, Hewitt, and I forget the third author, but it's called The Power of Focus. It's about how to do goals. And I'm not going to take a whole lot of time right now to talk about goals. Maybe I'll do that next week on another philosophy. I'll talk a little bit more about goals and how you can get tons and tons of stuff done. But this week, I've been really pulling myself away from technology. That when I get up in the morning, I'm dedicating myself to a certain amount of time before I even turn on a computer to do things. Now, I might pull up my phone, check my email real quick, just make sure there's nothing important in my inbox. Like yesterday, I get up, there was something like, critically important, something's broken on this website. I had to jump on right there, fix it. Fixed it, turned the computer down, and then I went about my next hour and a half without a computer device on at all. And I did my thing without that, and I relaxed a little bit. And for the first time in a long time, I've been back into the weight room. I've been out there exercising. I've taken a walk last night without any tech at all. And it's awesome. Pull yourself away, because what happened in 2010, there's been this convergence, and this convergence really connected every aspect of our life. And with a life perpetually connected, we're constantly connected to marketing, constantly connected to advertising, constantly connected to our phones, our devices. And there was even a sermon by Chip Ingram back in, I think I heard it in 2006, when he was president of Walk Through the Bible, and he talked about, the sermon was, I think it was called 3 Keys to Make 2006 Your Best Year Ever, which, by the way, kind of dates that. But it was so fascinating what he had to say on there, which was all about just slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. Plan your day a little bit, because when you're constantly connected, you're on to the next video, you're on to the next text, you're on to the next phone call, you're on to the next thing. Slow down a little bit. Just slow down a little bit. Give the tech a break. Just go ahead and give the tech a break. Slow down, disconnect a little bit. I'm not saying throw your phone out. I'm not saying disconnect from the world. I'm saying set yourself some time each and every day to give the tech a break. Move away from the technology just for a little bit, just for a period of time. You are going to have a whole lot better life when you do that. Give the tech a break. So this has been Tom, and thanks for watching this Outdoor Woods Philosophy on Switched to Linux.